5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Now go home and get your fucking shine box.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Go Get Your Shine Box. This is Jim and the boys. What do you say, guys?
Well,
Good evening.
I don't know if anybody's heard, but the Aloha is now banned. You can't say it because it's offensive to people. So I don't know.
It's a cultural appropriation.
Is that right?
And we do not stand for any sort of bigotry, racism, Holocaust denialism, or any of that bad stuff around here.
Let's see. What else? What else can't you say? You can't say aloha. You can't say hola. Right? That's another one.
Well, how about then if you're not Caucasian, you can't say, "Hey, how you doing?"
Yeah. How you doing?
How's that?
You got if you're not Italian, you can't say how you doing.
Unbelievable.
From
So I
North
think
Jersey.
just for the sake of it, on the count of three, all three of us should say aloha. What do you think? 3, 2, 1.
Aloha.
Yeah, aloha.
Yeah. So we had to drag that out of you, Paul. But you know what? For the sake of spitting in the face of politically correct nonsense, why not?
Well, I can do that. I can do that.
Well, then let's do it again. 3.
Well,
2,
no,
1.
I'm not talking.
I think you're just anti-Tulsi.
My anti-political correctness is extreme, shall we say.
Hey, listen, we had a conversation this afternoon about Tulsi, and Paul started coming over a little bit. He started getting a little soft.
Well,
so
that's good. We'll do a Kumbaya Tulsi episode one of these days. But
it's coming up. Coming soon.
Hot off the press, as we all know. Like I called it last week, the Biden document story is still going to be thick in going, and it is. And,
it is. Oh, can I say something before we get going?
Yeah, you can.
There was a particular comment left by one of our subscribers by the name of Leif Erickson, one of my people from the old country, a fellow Viking, who apparently assumed incorrectly, jumped the gun, as it were, that the YouTube ban was my fault.
I got to say, I don't know, Leaf, but that's a pretty good assumption.
I don't know where this slander and calumny comes from. It's a dark place, I think.
This aggression will not stand, man.
But I just want to let them know that is not, in fact, the case.
And we're not going to say who did it. I will tell you it rhymes with Joe.
Okay.
But no names.
All right.
Yeah, so we're keeping that a mystery anyway. But hot off the press, continually, the gift that keeps on giving. It's the Biden document story. We kind of called it last week and said this was going to be a continuation, and lo and behold, it is. So we're going to be on time with bringing you some content, especially because it's all over everybody's splat. It's even on the mainstream as we speak. But basically, if you don't know what happened and you're living under a rock, this started with some documentation, top secret, compartmented secret information that was found in the Penn Library, or actually it was the Biden Penn Library they called it. I guess it was in Philly in November. I believe it was the 2nd. And of course, it was held back because why would you let that information out during the midterm election? So.
Yeah, and by the way, who's giving us this information on the date that it was found?
Exactly. This would be the Biden professional attorneys, the $1,000 an hour attorneys that are also movers. I didn't know that they moonlighted on the side as movers. But yeah, we'll try to discuss some of the legalities and one of the big ones is a little discussion on the comparison to the Trump situation with the Biden situation, because people want to say it's the same fruit. It's apples. It's not even in the same family. And I apparently we all three have different individual theories as well.
I've heard though. Yeah, I've heard the left wing media saying that it was not apples to apples. It was so much different, and they were saying that what Biden did wasn't a problem, but what Trump did was a problem. So that's what I heard in the news.
Well, actually, to get to that point, they found, let's see, as of our research, it was 4. I think it's now 5 sets of documents in 5 separate places. As of according to what they said, like you said, Paul, it's November 2nd. And so far, all that we've gotten as far as answers was Biden acting surprised to some degree, which I think is interesting.
You want my take on this?
Well, no, not yet.
Okay, I'll just sit here.
Yeah,
I'm sure Biden is pretty surprised every time he has a bowel movement. So,
this is true. But I'm trying to be historical and work up to a crescendo, and by doing that, we have to listen. We have to listen to this clip, and this will bring everybody up to speed with the historical value of documents.
When you saw the photograph of the top secret documents laid out on the floor at Mar-a-Lago, what did you think to yourself, looking at that image?
How that could possibly happen, how anyone could be that irresponsible. And I thought, what data was in there that may compromise sources and methods? By that, I mean names of people who helped, or et cetera. And it's just totally irresponsible.
So obviously that was Joe Biden, President Biden, back in what was it, March? Or no?
Yeah.
What am I saying? No, not that far back.
That was just before the election, so that was like October.
This is the Mar-a-Lago raid.
Yeah, so it had to be after August or whenever they went into Mar-a-Lago, or
I got a little brain fart there. Yeah. So that was his take on documents being so-called misplaced or taken or found.
And let's be clear, when he made that statement, he damn well knew that he had documents scattered around at that point. He knew it.
Yeah, let's start from a baseline that all these people take classified documents home.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, that was going to be my point. So he's got classified documents. Trump's got classified documents. There's a little bit of difference. Trump was the president, not the vice president. But Obama's got them. They all got them. And I'm not really too concerned about the classified documents. What I'm concerned about is I'm worried about the scandal of Ukraine. The millions of dollars that he sucked out of Ukraine, and these documents that he has, we've already been ticked off, or that they're about the Ukraine. The classified documents is a small thing here. The big thing is the millions of dollars and the corruption and what Biden has been making deals to arm them, and he's skimming off the top. He's getting paid to give our taxpayer money to these people. So that's the scandal.
Well, and you're jumping a little ahead of me, because basically you're leading into the point where I was going to talk about the authenticity of these documents that we don't really know. Right. We're only being told by what from his attorneys, and very, very little communication, because he's probably being told to shut up. But apparently some of the documents appear to be of the most secret, the compartmented secret information type documents. So that being said, the implications of those documents as they pertain to the Biden crime family is exactly what I was going to talk about. So you jumped ahead, but that's fine. I mean, because we're back on the same page now.
All right, because that's what I think. That's the main focus here. This other stuff is kind of trivial. Okay, so he had some top secret documents, and he took them for personal gain, writing a book, whatever the deal was. But he took these documents so nobody would see them. And
we don't know what document. I mean, we know what they found, but we don't know what they haven't found, what's been destroyed, or what you'll never find. Don't forget, the FBI was consulted to see whether they should go in and supervise finding these documents, and they backed out and said, "Nah." His lawyers, DOJ said no. Yeah,
they didn't even. What's that? Aren't they supposed to do a 309 when they for doing an investigation and they talk to people? They did nothing. They're 307, whatever it is, what number it is. I'm not so up on that stuff, but I know that
it's just 302. But you guys will.
Okay, whatever.
22,
you know what I'm talking
23.
about. They're not documenting anything. They're being so nonchalant about it. Because
I just hope
it's in Biden's back pocket. I mean,
I just hope that if I ever commit a federal crime, that the FBI allows my lawyers to do the investigation.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that'll happen. You'll be rotten, and you'll be in Guantanamo that fast.
Well, Cuba's nice this time of year, especially if you have an Islamic prayer mat. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, but so I mean, and then jumping back and forth. Almost like we didn't have an outline. The comparison to Trump was that he had the ability, obviously, as president, to declassify anything. If we're going back to the simplistic comparison, whereas a vice president does not. And he also, I don't even keep my birth certificate in the garage. Who keeps anything of any importance in the garage?
Yeah, cardboard boxes in the garage.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're 100% right. If you look at both cases, Trump did not commit a crime. There were no crimes committed. If you look at Biden, there's crimes committed. That's the difference.
Well, I got a little clip here to soothe us more from one of my favorites. Is from Corinne Jean-Pierre.
Before you play that, let's all keep in
President
mind.
Biden be trusted moving forward.
Well, geez,
You got to give me a little warning.
I was just going to say, let's keep in mind that there are probably more than one faction. There's probably more than one faction at work here. Pro-Biden, anti-Biden, people who want to get Biden out of there versus his supporters. That is my working hypothesis. They're inside the White House, inside the security state, whatever. So.
We're definitely going to come to our individual theories.
Have you noticed that late on the news just recently they're pumping Kamala up and how she's stepping forward and she's coming alive and she's it's almost like they're propping her up for the job now.
I've not noticed that, but I mean that would make sense because she would have to step in.
Well, we don't know that's just not an imbalance in her drug use. I
don't know. I was just watching the 5 this afternoon, and before we went on, and Kamala was top news because the media is now pushing her greatness, and she has a new staff, and
she's had plenty of stabs in her life.
Yeah.
Well, she's got a new staff because all of her staff quit.
Yeah.
So
it's new staff by attrition. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. Let me get back. Let me get the ball back here.
Let's hear that quick.
Get the ball back.
That clip.
How can President Biden be trusted moving forward with America's secrets?
Because his lawyers, his team did the right thing.
But he had a closet with classified
his lawyers
information in
did
it
the
that
right
they found.
Again.
Did the lawyers do
He
the
was
right
surprised that the records were there. He spoke to this personally. He was surprised that the records were there. And when his lawyers found out and his team found out that they were there, they turned it over to the archives.
On these documents, how could anyone be that irresponsible? Isn't that what this president says about mishandling classified documents?
The president spoke to this personally. He spoke to this personally. He believes that classified documents and information should be taken seriously. He takes them seriously, and he was surprised to learn by any records had been. I disagree. Here's what happened. Once
Then why
his
is there a Justice Department?
well, let me explain to you the process. Here's what happened when his lawyers found out that the documents were there. They immediately turned them over to the archives.
But they were there
they
in the first
immediately
place. I
turned
understand
them
that
over to the
you say
archives.
They did the right thing.
I'm not gonna go into specifics, but what I'm reiterating to you is what you heard from the president yourself, Peter, which is how he saw the process and how he respects and truly respects and takes this very seriously. And when he knew, and how surprised he was by it, and the actions that the right actions that the lawyers took. Again, this is under investigation, is under review by the Department of Justice, and we're going to let that process continue.
I had to let that play out because you can't fully understand the depths of her stupidity unless you let the whole clip play out.
I'll tell you, I feel bad for Peter Ducey to be all alone in that press room with the rest of the sycophants and
that snake
bootlickers.
pit.
Yeah.
They're starting, but they're doing a very little methodical creeping up on this particular fiasco. I don't even know what you call it at this point, but she's just freaking. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I think that you nailed it when you said, or I don't know, maybe you or Paul said it, but they don't. Some of his people are going for him, and some people are against him. And I think that there was a whistleblower that we don't know about. That's the reason why these were found in the first place.
Well, like I said, I have my theory, and I'll bring it up in a little bit. But another interesting point I wanted to talk about was the responses to this particular story by various different people. The first indication was that, of course, the Republicans were, probably doing a high five, because this is so timely in regards to the charges or pending charges or rumored charges about this Mar-a-Lago Trump thing, which is, again, it's like comparing an apple to a Cadillac. But we all know that this comes out, nothing is going to get pushed. Nobody's going to get prosecuted here, not at this level. And this nullifies the entire charge on Trump, which is, I don't know if they intended that. I don't, it's hard to say. But personally, like I said, I'll talk about it a little deeper in a minute. I don't really think that this was something to get Biden to stop running, because I don't think he was going to run anyway, regardless of what he said. And that being said, the mainstream media is touching this, but like you said, Joe, they're touching it in kind of like the way they want to touch it. They're getting into it, but they're still with the comparisons.
Yeah.
Well, it's like they're being forced to do something they don't want to do. You know what I mean?
Well,
they are not. They are. It is not in their nature to go after Biden, and so that's one of the reasons that I believe that a memo is at least going out to some of these outfits, and we'll see what happens. By the way, if you're going to play some takes on this, I hope you will use my favorite political commentator, Rob Reiner.
Right behind a couple other. I'm surprised I don't hear anything from Robert De Niro. What's up with him? He was all kinds of vocal until, But actually, I got one more clip that we'll play in a second. But what was I going to say? Back to the comparisons. That's one of the first public mainstream media. I guess commentaries that came out. In fact, some of them still are, like Scarborough. Then he changed his mind, and a couple other ones. It bounces back and forth. But back to your point, Paul. They back up Biden, but it's not characteristic for these people to not back up the Democrat, regardless of who. It could be Pugs the dog, as long as he was in the Democratic seat.
Right, but I mean, they can see what's going on with Biden, and if they got word that it's time for him to go, they would be team players, in my opinion.
Oh, eventually you're going to get the bullet points, but I think this next clip kind of sums up the 3-court shot or the whatever they call it.
3-point shot. Well, quit teasing us, man.
Well, you know what? I shouldn't do sports analogies. I really shouldn't. So, yeah, let's call this the hockey halftime.
There you go.
Or something like that. I don't know, but I think it was funny. And look, since I grabbed the clips, there's so many clips to grab. Okay, including one of Joe's favorites, and I forget the guy's name. He looks like a black Q-tip. He's talking about with short hair.
Oh, short hair. Okay.
Talking about Guam tipping over, and he had you know, when I got off the plantation, this is a perfect opportunity for somebody to plant stuff on somebody's place. You can plant something on somebody and then make it look like that was them that they didn't plant it on you. I was like, dude, what? But I didn't want to. I figured, let me do it. That's my take on it. But you can look it up. I think you know who I'm talking about. But check this clip out. This was fun, and like poor Ducey.
Classified material next to your Corvette. What were you thinking?
Let me. I'm going to get a chance to speak on all this, God willing, soon. But as I said earlier this week, people. And by the way, my Corvette's in a locked garage. Okay, so it's not like you're sitting out in the street. But anyway, it was in a locked garage. Yes, as well as my Corvette. But as I said earlier this week, people know I take classified documents and classified material seriously. I also said we're cooperating fully and completely with the Justice Department's review. As part of that process, my lawyers reviewed other places where documents from my time as vice president were stored, and they finished the review last night. They discovered a small number of documents of classified markings in storage areas and file cabinets in my home and my personal library. This was done in the case of the Biden Penn. This was done in the case of the Biden Penn Center. The Department of Justice was immediately, as was done, the Department of Justice was immediately notified, and the lawyers arranged for the Department of Justice to take possession of the document. So we're going to see all this unfold. I'm confident. Thank you.
Okay.
You know that the Biden Center, where they found the documents, the first set of documents, it wasn't open until 2017. So there was a year's where they had to be moved in that year's time. These documents have been moved all over the place.
We don't know. We don't know. And here's the low-hanging fruit section. He couldn't even read the script.
I know.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick some fruit up off the ground right now. How every Republican is not demanding a cognitive test of this freaking guy right now is beyond me. Every right-wing media outlet, tell them, listen, you take a cognitive test or we're going to shut the whole thing down.
Yeah. I don't know what the implications, the legal implications of that are.
This ain't funny. You know what I mean? We laugh, but this is not funny. We're on the verge of World War III. We are in World War III right now. And we got a freaking demented Alzheimer's patient steering the ship, supposedly.
Yeah, well, Zelensky's asking for parts for tanks.
Yeah.
But anyway, my theory in regards to the Biden document story is that it's being used to distract from something bigger, obviously.
Right.
And my theory suggests that the documents and the media coverage surrounding them are obviously used to divert our attention away from something bigger. And I'm not really sure what that is. I haven't really come to that conclusion yet. I'm still waiting and thinking and reading and watching.
And waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Yeah, right. It's coming, and I believe that you're on the right. I'm thinking the same thing.
Well, one example would be when one example of that would be the new Congress came in, and everybody knew when the new Congress came in that they were talking about investigations. So you're talking about investigations into corruption, unethical behavior from the Biden family. all the allegations surrounding the Biden family. Maybe this is to take attention away from those investigations and potential consequences, to that extent. Also, they're getting close. And I think there's something has to do with the new Congress and this administration, because they're getting mighty close to finding out things we're not supposed to find out about, like the origins of COVID, the actual ties that Biden and the family have to China and Ukraine, not just the conspiracy theorist versions, but they're actually going to have sessions and dig deep into this. To what extent we don't know, but by creating this frenzy, all of this stuff is taken away from the actual problems that, back to what you said, Paul. Nobody's talking about how this guy's demented right now. Everybody's talking about the document scandal, and also I'm thinking that these documents may or may not be authentic. We don't know if they were planted by his people. I'm certain they weren't planted by ours. And I hate to say that it sounds like we're separate but equal, and I guess we are. Maybe it was an internal plant. Maybe it was fully intended to create a sensationalist, environment, because this has been going on for many, many cycles. But in my personal opinion, I don't think this has anything to do with whether Biden was going to run again or not. I don't think he was. They planned it. They planned this out so it didn't. So it did affect the midterms, which affected Trump somewhat, but it didn't affect anything else going forward. So that's my theory. I think this is a big smoke and mirrors operation, and I'm not saying it's not true. This is a criminal activity that's not going to be prosecuted. We all know that.
The timeliness of it is the real thing.
Well, not only the timeliness of it, but the execution of it. Because if this was, Joe's point, those things have been moved around for years. Everybody knew what was out there and when they were, and back to my point about the $1,000 an hour lawyers. They're not movers, but they've been moving this stuff around, and we have no idea why.
They knew it was there. That's my timeliness argument. Why now?
Yep. And those questions may or may not be important. We might be missing something bigger. I don't know.
I think that you're onto something, and I think that as bad as it is, what's happening, I think you have to just keep looking around, keep to the left, keep to the right, see what's coming, see what's going to come out, because there's something else going on here, something bigger going on.
Yeah, and I mean it's kind of there's an irony here. There's a writer's irony here, because as we have already seen for the past 2 years, Biden and his administration, and I say that loosely, has been able to do anything they want. They lie with impunity. They steal with impunity. These budget passes, the omnibus bill, everything, the Ukraine, the money going to Ukraine, they're just doing anything they want to do. It's just open borders, open crime, two-tier prosecution, and not a word from Pelosi or Schumer on this, which is very atypical. So I don't know. That's what I got to say about that. And I'm not sure that, we're not in for something big. And it may just be that the fact that they're trying to steer away from this congressional hearings, which really haven't even started and probably won't start till March. So I could be wrong. Well, that would be the first time this week. So
let me depart from character and throw out something, quote, really big. Now, you've heard this and you disagree with it. A theory that I heard, and for some background on this, you have to realize that Biden has been hesitant to send certain things over to Ukraine. He's got no problem sending money, sending Polish troops, or some other guys dressed in Ukraine,
right?
Special operators or whatever, and howitzers, blah 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 blah. But he's not been willing to send long distance missiles, something that can get deep inside Russia, other things of that nature. And the one theory that I heard is that this is being done to either punish or pressure him because the security state wants full-blown war with Russia in a horrible way. Now, just coincidentally, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but a lot of the NATO countries have been hesitating past couple of weeks. And all of a sudden, over the past, I don't know, 4 or 5 days, is that about how long this has been lasting?
Well, at least, since Wednesday, Tuesday? Yeah, about a week and a half. Yeah.
All of a sudden, they're throwing everything but the kitchen sink at Ukraine. So worth considering, because the people doing this, they actually believe that it's an existential crisis on the West's part, NATO's part, which maybe it is. I've already
What the defense of Ukraine?
Yeah, I've already predicted that NATO won't exist in a couple of years, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I honestly don't believe anybody is genuine on this whole Ukrainian thing. To be honest with you, I think the entire thing is about money. Zelensky, whatever the frig, he shows up on the Oscars? Didn't they just have the Oscars?
Yeah, but that's I think again, there's more than one faction here. That's the money laundering part there, which includes the military industrial complex in part. But if some is good, more is better. And these people would love nothing more than to carve Russia up into little tiny pieces and sell it off between them.
Well, yeah, and not only that, but Sean Penn cried. So.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, so there's that, and he's not like he's an actor.
Is he friends with?
Oh yeah,
him and Zelensky, they're tight. They were. He gave him his Oscar or something.
Yeah,
I was going to say Kinzinger, but
well, he could be tight with him too. But I think like Sean Penn likes all of the fascist Nazis. Well, he introduced Zelensky on the award show. And they had a video. Obviously, it was a.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't watch award shows.
I don't watch award shows, but I had to watch that clip because it was, like really. I haven't seen Sean Penn cry enough, and I couldn't resist. So I was like, yeah.
Was Zelensky wearing a jogging suit like he was?
He had his logo T-shirt on. And I think he was selling merch too. I think you can buy Zelensky logo T-shirts now.
Dude.
I mean,
he's such a horse's ass.
Here's the problem. Why ain't we in on that?
Well, hey, look, speaking of advertisement, hey, this might be a good time to talk about the newest endeavor, I guess you can call it, called buymeacoffee.com. So we signed up for buymeacoffee.com, and you can actually go on there and donate or, a quick amount, or you can subscribe for a certain amount. We have different levels out there. You go to buymeacoffee.com/shinebox. And you can find it there. Also embedded the button on the website, so you can just hit that up either on your phone or on your computer, and just smash that button. That's at 10mmm.org. Also, obviously, I'm going to link all the links to the content in the description of all our podcasts, including Rumble and on YouTube, if we continue to use them. And of course, shineboxcontact@gmail.com is our direct email address. Here's another one that's out there on a link, but I'm going to tell you anyway. It's the Twitter handle. It's at frickin' Shinebox, and that's going to be spelt a little different. FRIKKEN Shinebox at frickin' Shinebox. So check those out when you get a chance. And as always, they're in the descriptions of all our podcasts that we release.
These guys that go get your Shinebox are doing a great job.
So you could call me shameless, but I'm plugging us, okay?
Yeah, and we'll be working on the Buy Me a Scotch for next episode.
Well, you know what? I'm talking about Zelensky and his merch because I seriously think you can buy those shirts. So by golly, we're selling stuff too.
That's right.
I mean,
why not? And we are. This is sort of top secret, but I'm gonna let it out, Jim. I hope you don't mind. We are working on a line of men's clothing. It's going to be gangster style, and weapons to go with it. You will want to look this way when we're done.
You're talking about pinstripes. I take it.
No, you know what I'm talking about. I had AI work up something there.
Yeah.
I think that is a good look for the well-dressed man of today. Yeah.
Absolutely. But anyway, back to the Biden. I don't know, Joe. What's your final thoughts on this mess?
My final thoughts is that Biden is a pile of human excrement. That's what I think. So,
this is definitely the rated G version. You know, we even moderated the intro.
I would just say, true dat.
I don't know if you can say that.
Oh, I'm not allowed to say that because I'm white.
I think since this is, we can classify ourselves. I think we've classified ourselves as comedy, and you use the soft A. I think we can let that slide. But any of my black friends out there listening, educate us on that. Any Hawaiians out there, educate us on the aloha thing. Any Irish out there, educate me on the why Irish whiskey is only 40 AVB, if you don't mind.
And it's spelled different.
Yeah, and any Scotch people out there that want to just donate some 43%, I'm happy to take that as well. And for that, I had to make an exception to give you my home address. So, but anyway, actually, what we talked about was timely, and we had to do it. And we gotta have a fun subject, like your favorite handgun or something next week. But anyway, the whole premise of the whole coverage is about this guy who's the president of the United States. And obviously over the past, I don't know how many years, we don't know if he took these at the end of his term or he was stockpiling all 8 years as VP.
Right.
We might never know. But I will tell you one thing, and I always forget the guy's name. He was the one of the mob bosses that used to put his bathrobe on and slippers and shuffle out of the house to check the mail and eat ice cream on the sidewalk because he wanted the FBI agents that were surveilling him to think he was Gugat. They wanted to think he was nuts. And I think that's what Biden's doing. I think he's faking. I think he's pulling a freaking old lady soprano. Oh, I don't know anything. I'm just an old man that just says stuff that I don't know. I don't mean it. I think he's full of crap.
If he's faking, he's doing a damn good job.
Well, he's a sociopath. He has to be. He's been in government for over 40 years. You have to be a sociopath.
One thing I'll just let you can end with this is that whatever you take of this, just keep both eyes open because there's something coming.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. As my brother said, stay frosty and keep your head on a svivel.
I am really impressed. I was going to propose, being that I classify myself as the company soothsayer, that every week I do a something of a prediction.
Yep.
And see what's coming. But Joe is jumping on board here. He sees the darkness coming. So I'm feeling hope.
Is there any indication that we shouldn't be watching the hammer drop, the next shoe drop, the whatever cliche you want to stick in there?
No, that's fair enough, straightforward. Something's coming.
Yeah. So no promises, but we might deviate from the politics next week. Let us know what you think. Give us a thumbs up. Do the comment thing and have a good night. Thanks, guys.
Aloha, everyone.
Aloha.
Profess your undying love. That's a good way to start. Have a good night, everybody.